Female listeners and saints. Today we're going to be talking about Lee Rigsby and the public beheading. Let's jump right into it. Oh, I hope this works. Okay, this is Lee Rigsby. This was a very public murder of the British soldier Lee Rigsby. He was one of, it was a story that had shocked the entire country. This was in obviously the UK. And he was a British army soldier that had just been murdered in the middle of the street in broad daylight in one of the most vicious ways. So today's video is going to be another true crime. We're going to be talking about horrifying things, terrorist attacks against Lee Rigsby. So I don't know if you want to watch this video or not. I will give a little disclaimer. Um, Absolutely no disrespect to anyone that I talk about in this video. This is for educational purposes and entertainment purposes only. And everything that I'm about to talk about is just information that I have found on the internet and I'm compiling into one video. So there's major content warnings for this video today. We're going to be talking about terrorist attack. That is what the case is about. It was a terrorist attack in the streets of London. It's a very, very horrifying, case we're going to be talking about today. There is racism and a lot of Islamophobia that actually comes out in this case, and it's very prevalent theme. There is mention of sexual assault. The main content here, excuse me, is racism and Islamophobia. If any of this is something that you feel that you don't want to watch right now, you can always come back for another video. In England, 2013, well, let's go back. 1987, when our victim, Lee Rigsby, was born. He was actually born Lee James McClure. McClure, I don't know how, like, some people would pronounce that, like over in the UK, but he was born under a different name, and on July 4th, 1987, in Manchester, his parents were named Phil McClure and Lynn Rigsby. The name really trips me off. I'm sorry, his parents actually separated while he was still very young. I think that only a few years into his life, his mother actually ended up finding a new man named Ian, who had 5 children of his own already, 5 girls, I think, and the kind that brought the whole family together. And so, whenever they had got married, they all decided that the family would take the mother's name, which is Rigsby. It's actually Rigby. I keep saying that wrong, sorry. And the husband, Ian, even took the last name of the wife. They were a very happy family. I couldn't find any like research on this Ian guy, Ian. Um, but he adored Lee very much. He was a great father figure. The whole family was happy again. Had a good childhood growing up. Dun, dun, dun. And from little, he knew that he wanted to be in the military. I mean, like from little, and he was working towards that from the beginning. Like when he was like really young, when he was 18, he joined the army. Well, actually started training at 18 years old. Um, I'm not sure the process over there in the UK about joining the military or joining the army, but he was in by the age of 18 and he was loving it. And uh, he expected it to be as he was growing up, like from his childhood, what he expected it to be. Um, he thrived. He had army friends. They give him the nickname Riggers. I said Riggers. He had a lot of friends. He had no trouble settling into um, the life of being in the military. He That was the family. It was like the Brady Bunch, man. But he wanted to pick up drumming. Trying to find that picture. This was him, I think, in Afghanistan. He had no trouble settling in, and he picked up drumming as well as at one point so that he could be in the parades. This is where, of course, they all march and play the drums around the same time. As he joined the army, is 18, he met a girl named Rebecca. Rebecca. Ta-da! And he fell head over heels in love with this girl. Within 2 years, they were married, and Lee was getting stationed like everywhere, so many different places. He was flying everywhere from Cyprus, Germany, Afghanistan, then eventually he was brought back to London, where he was some kind of he had more of a permanent base, and he took on ceremonial duties at the Tower of London. So he was one of those guys that they would call the beefeaters. Um, yeah, they're married, I guess, because the hat, all that. That's what the picture is for the thing that they call the beefeaters. The iconic big fluffy hat, and he was one of those guys that he would guard, and he really enjoyed being married. So they settled in, and of course he would have to go out to different countries, but he'd come back, and he was stationed in London. Then the two of them got pregnant with the baby in 2011. Rebecca gave birth to their son. Um, Together, it was Jack Rigby, and he was just over the moon. I mean, he loved this kid. I think I got a picture. There's a picture, I hope, in here of the kid. He has a little hat on and all. It was a baby boy, his first son, and it was all sunshine and roses. And he loved the job. Literally going away and fighting on the front lines. He saw a lot of traumatic stuff in his time. He had been through a lot with his friends. And so Lee decided he wanted to do something about it. He wanted to do something because he knew that um, he was quite lucky that he had come back with and only had too much traumatic, like PTSD. So he started helping the Help for Heroes. This is for disabled, severely injured, and he wanted to help out and help his brothers. So he started working alongside the charity Help for Heroes. Help for Heroes is a UK charity that's basically offers support to members of the armed forces that have struggled in war, like with mental illness, all mental health issues. Maybe they were severely injured or disabled, perhaps. Their families would get help too in the aftermath of their service. It was very, it's a very necessary charity and they do a lot of great work. And Lee thought that too. It was a charity that he held very, very close to his heart, was very passionate about working for. They would do fundraisers. He had a hoodie that had that on there, the Help for Heroes. And so eventually he gets sent back to Afghanistan. And this is where his life changed a lot. Actually, due to this one trip, because while he was over there, he started getting quite close to a military police officer named Amy West. And this is the kind of that threw his head into a spin. That's Amy. Um, because he was thinking, what if I'm not actually happy with my wife at home, you know? After meeting Amy, started to realize that maybe he had rushed into things with his wife, and they were very young whenever they got married. Um, and Rebecca was at home, and now he's realizing that that there's other women out there. It sounds awful, but it took this to make him realize that he just wasn't actually happy in the relationship, and he thought that he could be a lot happier with someone else, with Amy, than he was with his wife back home and Rebecca. And so when Lee Rigby returned to London, he actually sat his wife down and told her he wanted a divorce and he left her. And I think he was still in his child's life, but it wasn't a lot. And shortly after that, him and Amy got married. Of course, his wife was heartbroken. She didn't see this coming, of course. And she thought they were happy and had a great life. And it was just a sad situation. It wasn't one person. It wasn't when one person is still very much in a relationship and they're very happy, but the other is not. So him and Amy get married, and their relationship was progressing very quickly. And actually, by February 2013, they were engaged. Sorry, to be married at the point where Lee went back to London and Amy was still in Afghanistan. And they are still trying to plan their wedding. He would go to the bridal shops and buy books and circle what he liked and then box them up and send them over to Amy. And she would circle what she liked. That's how they were planning the wedding. This was like 3,000 miles away, but that's how they were planning the wedding. And so, of course, she's upset. Um, we're just going to jump into it because it's pretty much what's going to happen here. Let me try to get down to the names. But just take a good look at this picture while I look for the names. This is one of the killers, by the way. They actually had drove there's CCTV footage of them driving around the block twice before they see Lee. And I don't know if I have the footage or not, but they actually swerve over out of another lane to hit him. And this is one of the killers. I'll get to their name in a minute, but they this is one. This is one. And it says as the carriage is reaching your own towns, carnage is reaching your own towns. These guys were Islamic and they hit him because I guess of military. I don't know how they knew that, but maybe they were circling around because they were waiting for him. This happened across from the artillery barracks. And the reason this is blurred out is because he's holding two knives, um, a regular big knife, and then, God, what's it called? One of those big, like you chop meat with. Anyway, he was holding two knives because after they hit him with the car, they got out and they were stabbing and chopping him and all this stuff. And then someone, I think named Ingrid, had put their coat over him, trying because people came there and nobody took out phones to film it. They actually tried to stop it and get this guy back. And I don't think this is a country that has guns. So, I mean, these people took it on themselves to interject without any weapons. But according to Article 3 of the 2010 UN Declaration of the Measures to Eliminate International Terrorism, criminal acts intended or calculated to provoke a state of terror in the general public, a group of persons, or particular persons for political purposes are in any circumstance unjustifiable without or whatever the considerations. And you can see the reference there. And this is one of the places that they blew up. Someone had called for emergency services. This was going while this is going on, but right now one of them were no one was there stopping this. No one was there to regulate this or anything. These attackers were actually still talking to witnesses. And again, remember, he was a British soldier. Um, he's laying in the street dying. The camera had caught, come on, like I said, had caught him getting run over. I can't actually find where he gets run over. I see it where they swerve towards him. But you know me, I want to see the carnage. Okay, there's 29-year-old Michael, and I'm just going to spell it because I have no idea how to say it. Adebelaja. The other was 22-year-old Michael A.D.E. Bull at Bull. Maybe that's how you say it. Is this the end of my presentation? But double click. What's the car? Okay, y'all didn't even see that. Sorry. Okay, imagine 30 or 40 miles an hour, and he gets hit. Then, after that, the guy jumps out and starts chopping him up. God, I can't think of the name of that. I can't believe I can't think of the name of it. It's the long for like the I don't know. But they get out there and they're just chopping him up, don't even care. I'm gonna be up all night long until I figure out what you call that. It had like one of the big knives you would have in shit. Like you would buy and you would have in your one thing, and then it was like one of those you would cut meat with. It's long as far as like down, but it's short, and I can't think of the name of it to save my life. But anyway, they got life in prison without the possibility of parole. Um, I don't think there's too many stories where I hear that the UK puts people to death. So this is the case of Lee Rigby, the soldier that was run down in the road and then chopped up. And they just kept on and kept on until people come up and stopped them. And of course, he passed away. And there's a memorial there. And it being a terrorist action, there was people looked into it, and everything kind of, in a way, got dealt with. So it just makes me mad that someone would just run somebody down and get out and chop them up because of their beliefs and stuff. But anyway, thank you for joining me. And as always, I will see you next time. Bye.